The Longbox Crusade presents
Action Film Face-Off.
This episode, it's 2011 versus 1993.
Two films enter.
One film leaves.
2 men enter, 1 man leaves. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hit.
Welcome to Action Film Face-Off, everybody. This is a show where two random years are selected. My brother brings an action film from one of the random years. I bring one from the other random year. And then those two films do battle using a variety of criteria. And a champion is crowned by the end of the episode. I'm Jared Albrecht, the Death Probe. My co-host is my brother Jason, the Weasel Skull. Both military combat vets who take our action seriously, but not too seriously. So let's have some fun. Jason, this is a double blind fire for me, man. I'd never seen any sniper movie in my life up until prep for the show.
I've seen them all, man. It's double regular for me. I've seen 1, I've seen 2, I've seen 3, I've seen Reloaded. There's even a couple more floating around on
Netflix
you can see.
Yes, I was reading an article the other day. I think they're working on the 12th sniper film.
I lost track after a while, but there's a whole bunch. Yep. All right. Yes, indeed. We're going to score each of today's films on a scale of 1 to 10 in 5 categories. Those categories are the story, the overall spectacle, the best action scene, the hero, and the villain. And it still won't be in that order, but that's okay. And we will still have the deduction round where up to 10 points can be subtracted from the film's total for whatever we determine is the low point of the movie. Misfire.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Jason. This is the part of the show where we would introduce the sniper. We have, 2 movies in the sniper universe, but we have, sadly, no sniper. We had Captivating Kathy Bright, the MVP, scheduled for her regular quarterly visit here to Action Film Face-Off. But unfortunately, her mother is dealing with some health issues and Kathy's taking care of her. So we just hope that Kathy's mom gets better and we can see her back here again in about 90 days' time for her next appointment here on Action Film Face-Off. Although, to her full credit, she did her job behind the scenes. She selected our trivia nuggets for us. Those are already in the script, thanks to her. She sent me her sniper bullets. That'll help out in case we have a tie. So, yeah, Kathy's doing it. In fact, I even had it in the script to ask her what her 3 favorite movies that feature Billy Zane are. She stated they were Dead Calm, The Phantom, and Titanic. And, 1 out of 3 isn't bad. I'm giving her credit for 1 out of 3 of those movies.
I gotta say, one of my favorites is Tales of the Crypt, Demon Knight.
Heck yes.
That is
I'm taking Kathy's Phantom. I'm taking Demon Knight. And how are you not taking Back to the Future? I know it's not a big part, but he's in it.
I forgot that he's in that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So there you go. Now, that's our update on Kathy. And again, I hope Kathy's mama is doing better by the time this comes out.
Amen. It doesn't seem like quite a show without. We got 2 sniper movies and no sniper.
No sniper.
Sniper.
I don't know.
But you know what? This is a good reason for her to be off taking care of those who have taken care of her.
Right. All right. Before our 2 films into the Video Dome Arena, we are thrilled to kick off this episode with special shout-outs to the Crusaders Club members. These are the fine folks who have joined our crusade. They enjoy early access to special Longbox episodes, behind-the-scenes recordings. They get to have input on, what we do on programming and stuff like that. So much more. These are the folks reaping the benefits and giving so much appreciated support to the show.
Alan W. Wright.
And Helica Wolf out.
Auburn Elvis. Thank you very much.
Bill Beer.
Billy D.
Bradley Dello.
Braxton Underwood.
Gary.
Clinton Robeson.
Captain Entropy.
Clark Westfield.
Dave Collins. Battlewagon.
Eric Hodges.
Eric Porter.
Ezra Gallo.
Gary V.
Gene Hendricks,
George Meal,
Gerald Green,
Heinz K,
Django Unfettered,
Jason Keene,
Jason Lady,
Jeff Pullier,
Jim Jarman, Jim Jarman, Jim Jarman, Jim Jarman. I hope you like Jim Jarman too.
Jim Meal,
Joe Man Conan,
Joe Thomas .5,
John Watson,
Josh Strickland,
Candace Ward,
captivating Kathy Bright, the MVP, who couldn't be here tonight, but it's I couldn't think of any more words that rhyme.
but we got her in our sights.
Yeah.
We're doing a sniper tonight.
It's because we're doing sniper. Yeah, there we go. I knew I could count on you.
Matt and Lissy Passo,
Mark Ross,
Maxwell Traver,
Michael Minton,
Miranda W.,
P.D. Devons,
Paul Hicks,
Rick from Jeff and Rick Present,
Ronald Easterday,
Rob Morgan,
Samantha Maney,
Sean Urbanski,
Snake Plissken,
Spidey 67,
Spreadsheet,
Steve Cronin,
Steve Martin,
Tim Price,
Tony Pennington,
and Toronto Cop. Someone needs to sign up with the beginning of the letter U through Z, and then Toronto Cop loses that anchor spot. I don't want him to, but
He's been that anchor spot for a long, long time. He'll get like Umbrella Academy or,
something. Yeah.
Victor Victoria, something.
If we missed you on the list, we apologize. Please keep in mind we record these episodes well in advance of release. So if your recent edition will be added you soon, but no worries. Just let us know we missed you by sending a hate-filled email to contact@longboxcrusade.com, and Pat will get it all straightened out. And if you're asking yourself, how do I become a Crusaders Club member? It's very simple. Patreon.com/longboxcrusade for as little as $1 a month. You'll get access to the amazing world of Crusaders Club. We'd love to have you join. Come check it out.
All right. You heard his mouth. He did shoot. Now it's time to put on our ghillie suit and get back to the combat and learn a bit about the film gladiators about to battle for our pleasure.
This episode, I was assigned the year of 2011. I selected Sniper Reloaded, the fourth in the Sniper series. What year did the randomizer select for you, Jason?
Well, I got 1993, and as it happens, that was the OG Sniper movie, and I selected that.
Well, we have got a fine matchup, folks. It's important to point out this isn't Jared versus Jason. We each had to select from our assigned year. I might like his selection better than mine, or vice versa. I haven't done the math yet, so I'm not sure. I know which one I like better in my gut, but we'll get there. This is about us discussing some beloved action films and coming to a consensus on which one is this episode's champion. Jason, I found the first 4 Sniper movies on a 4-pack DVD at my Goodwill a few months ago. They have been transitioned to my Plex, and that's how I watched them. How'd you do it?
I have that 4-pack sitting around here somewhere. Couldn't find it for the life of me, but I found one on Netflix. I believe it was Sniper I found on Netflix, and Sniper Reloaded I found on Apple TV.
There you go, folks. Some places where you can find it. And now it's time for your spoiler warning. We're going to spoil these movies. I mean, Sniper's killing. We're going to spoil it, I guess. But, we'll see you on the other side of this musical break, where you can have a chance to pause the show and watch anything you need to watch before you come back. We'll see you on the other side. All right, folks, let me jump in with some quick info on 2011's Sniper Reloaded.
Sergeant Brandon Beckett, can you tell us where you were on the 4th of August, 2010?
The Democratic Republic of the Congo, Africa.
Can you describe the events that led to you going AWOL?
We have to take you out of here. I have no problem here. You have no choice. Nova, get the vehicle! Get down! Where the shots coming from? A sniper.
I know who killed our man.
Do you have any evidence to corroborate your accusation?
No.
A secret world.
You can't fight something you don't understand.
Who are you?
I knew your father. He taught me how to be a sniper.
A conspiracy.
Thank you for your report.
My men were shot by U.S. weapons. Can you say thanks for the report?
The only way to fight back
I'm not going back until I'm done here.
It would be a suicide mission.
is to become the enemy.
You're stalking your prey. You gotta become one with the land.
So I should become a sniper. Snipe an enemy from a hiding place? You gotta face your enemy.
Let the weapon do the talking.
You're gonna answer for this.
Are you kidding? We're not gonna live through this.
Billy Zane.
We got company.
It's too dangerous. Try and stop.
Chad Collins.
What are you waiting for, Sniper? You have your assignment. Shoot.
I need to know.
What do you need to know? That man is the enemy. You put a bullet in his head.
Sniper Reloaded.
Here goes your cast and your crew. It starred Chad Michael Collins and Billy Zane. It is directed by Claudio Fa. Synopsis goes something like this. Sergeant Brandon Beckett is the son of the original sniper Thomas Beckett, and his squad of Marines is betrayed and eliminated by an enemy sniper in the Congo. As the sole survivor, Brandon is determined to find out the truth behind the massacre and get revenge against the evil sniper. For that second bit, he's going to need the help of his father's former protege, Richard Miller. And shout out to Captivating Kathy Bright, the MVP, for the trivia that she already packed into the script. I will now read the 3 bullets, no pun intended, that she provided for us. Item the first. Patrick Lister, who plays the hunter Martin Chandler, used to be a safari and game guide in South Africa. So it wasn't hard for him to slip into that role. Next bullet says, more errors and goofs than trivia. The optics the Marines are using on their Colt M4 rifles are a mixture of non-military optics. The correct optics should be the Trijicon ACOG, the Aimpoint Comp M3, M4, or the EOTech 552. And the only one I knew how to pronounce properly was the EOTech 552, because in all those years of leadership training I did, I actually trained at the EOTech factory where they make these sites, very cool sites. Their facility where I do the training, all along the walls are movie posters that have featured their product in them. And I'm pretty sure Sniper was on there. It was very cool. It was very cool. It was very cool. Anyway, the optics on the rifles appear to be a low-cost BSA and other non-approved variants. So basically what Kathy's getting at with her tech talk there, I didn't know she was so into the weaponry, but what she's saying is what we see in the film isn't super legit. They probably had to go a little cheaper, whatever they could get from the local, what do they call those? Like stuntman armories or something like that. It's something in that neighborhood. But as a military guy, I did not anything other than the EOTech 552. I have no idea what it looks like. I was not in the sniper realm. Iron sights for me.
I was iron sights the whole way, man.
That's right.
I didn't use any of these things.
Yeah, me neither. So that's a blind spot for Jason and I both in our military experience. Her third and final bullet is a plot hole. She says in Sniper 3, which was released in 2004, the character of Thomas Beckett was unmarried and had no children. And somehow in this film, which was released 7 years later, Beckett has a son who's in his early 20s. You got to do something to keep it going, I suppose. But
I mean, he was a Marine,
Yeah, that's why I was
probably
thinking.
Didn't know he had a son in the first one. And it was like, ooh.
What's this letter in the mail from Trang Pak? Oh,
that's right. Alimony. Child support. What? All right. Now I will give you the rundown on 1993's Sniper.
He's a shadow. He's out there. Somewhere. Waiting.
There's a major coup planned for Election Day in Panama. Ochoa's drug cartel is bankrolling it.
Fighting a war no army can win.
We have less than 1 week to prevent that.
But a single bullet.
Range me.
Can.
This is Alvarez, and that's where you'll find him. Heavily guarded, inside and out.
But this time, he set his sights too high.
National Security Council is sending a guy along to help, a shooter. Has he ever been in a jungle? Just trust me. Anybody the NSC sends down here is going to be fully qualified.
And his only backup is a new recruit.
You want to survive this, right? You do as I tell you to the letter. I think you got a chance.
You don't have any choice about it. Our contact is dead. We're going where they'll never expect us.
shot, one kill.
Cast and crew included Tom Berenger and Billy Zane. It was directed by Luis Llosa. Synopsis goes a little something like this. One shot, one kill. That's the mantra of Master Sergeant Thomas Beckett, U.S. Marine sniper. When the U.S. government has a problem they want to go away, Beckett's their man. Embarking on one last mission in Panama, Beckett is teamed with a CIA rookie shooter for one last hit.
Last hit. 11 movies later.
Right. So we thought.
Sorry, back to your stuff.
The deeper into the Panamanian jungle they go, the more dangerous it gets as Beckett tries to train his fledgling partner, evade guerrilla patrols, and confront an enemy sniper hot on their trail. All right, trivia goes a little something like this. Bullet 1. Based on the story of Marine Corps sniper Carlos Hathcock, who took out a Viet Cong sniper who was stalking him by firing a round through the man's scope into his brain. The story was confirmed true by witness John Roland Burke, Hathcock spotter. I've read that book too, by the way.
Yeah, Hathcock's a dang legend.
Oh, it's great. It's a great book, man. I mean, that's like the coolest thing, visually the coolest, but he does a lot of cool stuff in that book.
You know, the only other thing I remember in the book is the kill that made him the happiest for that gal who was torturing dudes.
Right. Yep. Yeah. He's like, it was never personal, except once.
Except that one was sweet.
Sweet. Bullet number 2. Both actors, like their characters, are from the same state. In real life, Billy and Tom were both born in Chicago, Illinois.
Hey, deep dish pizza.
That's right. The weapon used by Billy Zane in this movie is not an H&K PSG-1, an expensive precision semi-automatic rifle commonly used by Special Forces snipers. It is an H&K SR9TC, a similar but cheaper version of the PSG-1 that was designed for civilian sales. Okay, so we're supposed to grunt. It says,
and Kathy did her weaponry research. I would, again, not a realm I was in, so it completely fooled me. But for those of you who are deep into weapons, you probably are glad Kathy spotted that.
That's right. Yeah, I guess we say we're here for our military authenticity, but I guess we better just give that.
I'm really good at identifying aircraft.
I know. I'm good at PowerPoint, man. I put the general's briefing together and stuff. I can make a mean cup of coffee. I'll tell you. All right. And now that we have the basics on today's contestants.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Test your might.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Fight.
It's a street fight.
Oh, man, it's time to get into it. Let's talk about match game first. We have 2 films in 5 categories, and that means Jason and I can match up to 10 times. I've not seen his scores. He has not seen mine. Go ahead and place your bets, folks. How many times do you think we're going to match? Speaking of scores, let's set your barometer. In case this is the first episode you've ever listened to, I want to say welcome. If we scored a 5, that means it's okay. It's decent. Something you'd see on a made-for-TV movie on a Sunday, rainy afternoon, and it gets you by. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you got yourself a pretty good movie. 4, 3, 2, 1, you have things to work on. With that out of the way, let's get into round 1.
One shot, one kill.
Round 1 is the story. How engaging or original is your story? It's just me and Jason tonight. So, Jason, what you got?
Well, for Sniper Reloaded, I'd say it was a decent enough story. We talked a little bit about the suddenness of Master Sergeant Beckett having a kid. I caught on to that early on, but I thought that the character was pretty well developed throughout the course of the story. And I thought, the environment was kind of engaging. And of course, it had that must-have ingredient of having an enemy sniper for our young developing sniper to go against. So it had enough of a plot to carry it along. There were some pretty good sized plot holes in here, though. But for the most part, I think the story was serviceable. Yeah, decent.
Yeah, I'm with you on 2011 Sniper Reloaded. That one is better than I thought it would be for a part 4 that doesn't feature the star of the original. Okay,
Fair.
I'll start with that. I'll be like, okay, it's better than I thought it would be. There are some parts of the story that I I really liked, and there's some parts of the story that I thought were particularly lame, which I'll be bringing up in the deduction round. But
I think I know which one you're going to bring up, but
okay, interesting. We'll see. I did like the way they handled bringing in Billy Zane, having only seen, because I did watch them in chronological order. So I watched Sniper, which we'll talk about in just a few seconds, and then I watched Sniper Reloaded, and they did it well enough to where I was like, yay, it's Billy Zane. And I didn't really have a huge history with it. So I was like, the fact that I felt that means they did something right. And I did like the fact that it's more of a guy who's not necessarily a sniper like his dad was. I mean, he's good at it. He's a Marine. He's a good shot.
Yeah.
But it's about him sort of becoming a sniper because he needs to gain that skill set, which is why you need Billy Zane. So all that clicked really well for me, and I know we'll get to the villain part of the story in a minute, but I was watching it, and I was like, hey, I recognize that actor who plays his United Nations boss, like the German guy. I was like, man, it's good to see that guy didn't have to play a villain this time.
Wait for it.
How did they fool me? Anyway, we'll talk about him in a minute, but yeah, not bad. Not bad for a part 4. You know, this thing, I doubt it got a theatrical release. If it did, it was minimal. This had to be right to DVD.
I would guess, yeah.
And for that framework, it's not bad. All right, let's shift gears to original Sniper 1993. Your thoughts on the story there?
I thought that story was pretty well-rounded for being kind of almost a direct-to-video. I mean, I think it did get a limited theatrical release. I liked the blend of the action with the psychological elements of it.
Yes. Yeah.
Once they get into the jungle, it's a whole new world, and not a pleasant one. The fact that he knows that there's a sniper that he's trained that's trailing them, that he's got to evade, and then eventually he's forced to take him out in order to accomplish his mission. The mission gets more and more difficult as they go in. Billy Zane's character kind of starts as this cocky, like, how hard can it be type of thing. And then he finds out it is really freaking hard. There's a lot of stuff in that movie that just really shows the endurance, the mental discipline, the focus that it takes to do this job. I think Tom Berenger's character, we'll get into that a little more with the hero, really does a good job of portraying that coming to the end of his career, master sergeant who's mastered this craft to the point where he has nothing else. And Billy Zane, who's the young hotshot that's just kind of looking to punch his ticket and move up the ladder in the CIA. So very interesting story, a little more compelling, I thought, than Sniper Reloaded, but we'll get to that in the scores.
Yeah, and I'm going to agree with you. I thought the thing that pushes Sniper 93 up for me is the psychological part. It is especially the story of Billy Zane, as he's having a real hard time with it, because at the beginning he gets credit for this kill that he didn't do. Right. And he hasn't actually killed a man, straight up sniper dude. So when he does, this movie does that thing that movies don't often do, especially action films. It's, he's cool and all this. It shows you that is a hard thing to do, to kill another man. It is tough, and he has to deal with that, and he doesn't deal with it well at first, and that's normal, totally normal. I know we're not doing this movie on this episode, but it always reminds me that one of the best movies I ever saw that was Death Wish. Everybody kind of gets lost in the Death Wish, 5, 6 movies, whatever. They're all revenge films. Not that first one, man. When he kills his first dude, he throws up. It is hard for him. And I was like, man, most movies don't show you that. And this movie did. So yeah, that gives it a bit of a bump up for me as well. All right, let's go ahead and score these films. Let's go back to Sniper Reloaded 2011, 1 to 10. Where are you at?
It's not made for TV level, not that low. It's close.
I agree.
But I'm gonna give it a 6.
Match game number 1. I gave it a 6 as well. Sniper 1993 story.
I gave that one a 7. I think that one was a little bit more well thought out. Like Kathy indicated in her trivia notes, a lot of it's borrowed from the story of Carlos Hathcock. If you read the book, you can see where they got the inspiration for the film. So 7 for me for that one.
Match game number 2. I also have it at a 7. And even though she's not here with us, she did send in her sniper bullets, so appropriate for this episode. And she gave her +1 to Sniper 1993.
Well, she's here in spirit. She's got her ghillie suit on. She's just prowling around in the perimeter. All right. Well, I'll take it from here. We'll talk a little bit about the hero.
If it were up to me, I'd just kill you.
Well, we got a couple of heroes. We've got Baby Beckett, Brandon Beckett for Sniper Reloaded. And we've got Billy Zane, of course, returning as Miller. And we've got that lady that's in there for some reason. So
talk about that in the deduction round.
I had a feeling we might. So, Jared, give me your thoughts on the heroes of Sniper Reloaded.
I wasn't big on Baby Behringer or whatever his name was, Brandon or whatever. But he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad, but like, I don't know. I was very vanilla, mediocre on him with a slight nod towards, he did okay. He did fine. It's tough, man. Especially since I only saw the 2 movies. It's tough to follow Tom Berenger, which is funny because, I think of him as this really cool actor. And then when I really think about it, I was having a discussion with Crusaders Club member Ezra Gallo. And we were like, all right, he was in this series. He was in The Substitute. He was in the Major League movies and Platoon. And outside of that, I don't think I can name another movie that he was in. But I like him. And it's tough for this younger guy to fill those shoes. It's almost unfair. But then you have the addition of Billy Zane, who has obviously matured since the first film. I think he's in a couple of the others between here and there. I think he's in some of the ones that happen after this. This is kind of like his and Tom's franchise. They both kind of dip in and dip out, as from what I read online. And he was a very welcome addition. It was nice to see him. I like that he was kind of his own cool guy sniper. He wasn't just mimicking Tom Berenger's sniper. He was still his own guy, but he was a cool guy sniper. So overall, their duo-ness will help. I'm not big on the girl. Look for me to talk more about that in the deduction round. It felt like an absolute unnecessary tack on to the story.
Yeah.
It wasn't one in the 93 version. And I think it was better for it. Because, it's all about solitude and being away from things. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. And over to you.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was Chad Michael Collins was the actor who played Brandon Beckett. That is a tough act to follow, and we'll get a little bit more into that with the original Sniper and Tom Berenger's portrayal of Tom Beckett. But he did a decent job. Billy Zane kind of came in there, and in my mind, kind of like, hey, let me carry you a little bit there. And maybe that's kind of what it was trying to do. I think that for whatever reason, and that's part of the kind of going back to the story, we didn't get a whole lot of development as to the relationship between Brandon and his father, Master Sergeant Beckett. That was kind of lacking. Like I wanted to know a little bit more. And in personal life, Dad was a helicopter pilot. Our dad was a helicopter pilot. So I became a Stinger gunner because, send a message, So I was wondering, is there a little bit there? Like, I'll never be a sniper like my daddy was a sniper type of thing that was going on. So I think there was some wasted opportunity in the development of the hero a little bit. As far as the action scenes, I thought he carried his own. I thought he did a good job. He was fit. If we're going to go with the military accuracy, it was kind of hit and miss. He kind of handled the weapon pretty well. Some of the tactics that they used were like, man.
Some of that stuff I was like, what are you doing?
That's a choice, I guess.
I'll probably bring that in spectacle more, I guess. But yeah.
So long-winded way of me just saying I agree with you. All right. Well, let's move it on over to Sniper, the original 1993. It was a little leaner, a little meaner. We didn't have a love interest. We just had 2 dudes crawling around in the jungle trying to kill 2 other dudes.
2 cool guys.
Yeah. Trying to kill 2 bad guys. What'd you think of that?
Improved over Sniper Reloaded. But again, it's, you're comparing the original with part 4. A theatrical release with a DVD release. So, but yeah, I thought it was real solid. I don't think it's home run, must see action film theater like, Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone or, JCVD, all of our favorites here. But I think Tom Berenger, he has a great gruffness about him that works for this character. I think it really does. And then Billy Zane coming in as sort of the wide-eyed new guy who doesn't want to mess up, but he's up against something that's harder than he wants it to be. I thought it all blended really well. So, yeah, I don't really have any complaints. I think everyone carried it just fine, and score will reflect.
Yeah, I think for me, the thing that really stood out with Tom Berenger's character, he's always alone. Like, even when he's back in the base, when all the other Marines are kind of busting Billy Zane's nuts. And as soon as Tom Berenger walks into that bar, it's like they go quiet. And you can just kind of tell he is always alone. He's in his barracks alone. And that's the way he lives his life. He's kind of like he comes alive when he goes out on the jungle and he's in the hunt. So to me, that was the most interesting part of that character. It's like, what is he going to do when his career comes to an end 14 movies later? I thought it was really well played. And then when you juxtapose that against Billy Zane coming in there as the eager beaver, I'm just going to throw it out there, man. If they would have made Iron Man like 10 years earlier, Billy Zane, he would have been a good character to play Iron Man.
I like it as the Phantom. I don't care what anybody says.
I got to watch that one again.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I need to check it out again. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. Let's score it. What are you giving the hero category for Sniper Reloaded?
I'm going to land on another 6. I liked it. Zane is probably a full point of that. Like I said, the younger guy, Chad, it was good enough to get to that made for TV, not a problem kind of guy. And then I'm giving basically a bump for Billy Zane, 6.
Well, match game number 3. That's what I gave it as well. I thought just above made for TV movie level acting. A lot of it was just, the way he carried himself in the action scenes I thought was pretty good. Character development was a little lean. All right. Well, let's move it over to Sniper 1993. What'd you give that one?
Clearly gets a bump up. Again, I don't know that I feel like Sniper's an elite action movie, but I thought everybody did really well to the tune of a solid 7.
Match game number 4. We're just going right down the list here. It's I felt the same way. I thought that it was in very solid character development territory. Is it something that I would give like an Indiana Jones character? Like, I'll build a whole franchise off of it? I wouldn't have, but they did. So
somehow
7, I guess.
Yeah. And I've got Kathy's Sniper Bullet here, and she gave hers to Original Sniper 1993 as well. I guess that's it for round 2, and I'll take us into round 3.
It's time to die.
Round 3 is the villain. How memorable is your villain? How menacing is your villain? How entertaining is your villain? Here we go. We'll start with Sniper Reloaded 2011. Thoughts, Jason?
Well, we had the German guy who was kind of the mastermind. And yeah. Should have seen that coming.
Yeah.
The African captain, which I wasn't was he a bad? I couldn't tell if he was a bad guy or not. It didn't matter. He died. I think probably the villain we'll concentrate the most on is the enemy sniper, who was mean. He was a sniper. He was good at his job. That's what I got.
Yeah, I was going to say both of these movies, and we'll move into 93 here in a second. Both of these movies sort of suffer from, or I don't know, they don't have a lot of development to the villain. I would have liked to have known a lot more about, in 2011, what was his name? Like the Italian, I think was the name of the sniper.
Yes. Yeah.
And like we know nothing about this dude really, other than sort of Billy Zane kind of hints that like he might be a CIA guy like he was.
Yeah, he said he trained him.
Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't a hint. It was an outright admission. But otherwise we know nothing. And the same thing happens in Sniper 93. We have like these and they're just bad guys. Like there's another sniper out there. We don't know anything about this cat. I'm having a hard time to decide whether or not that's bad or good, because we want to focus on our snipers and their processes. I just kind of wish I'd known more, build up that villain a little more, make him a bad guy. A lot of faceless villainy to me in both these movies, but that'll be cut and paste for what I'm going to say about Sniper 93. You talk about Sniper 93's villainy, Jason.
Well, there was a little bit, just a smidge, not enough really to affect my score, but I'm a little more forgiving of the generalness of the villainy in Sniper 93 because I think the message that Master Sergeant Beckett was trying to convey is like, this is just a job, right? It doesn't matter. I don't need the backstory. I need to know who it is, and then I will go put a bullet in his heart, right? And that's what we do. I am just the instrument here. When you compare that with Sniper Reloaded, it's a little bit more, I need to get revenge because this guy killed all my team. So when you bring that motivation into it, it kind of, at least in me, it incites, okay, I need to know a little more. I need to know, like, why did he do it? And And I didn't really need to know in 93. He's like, I'm out here doing a job. This guy is paid by somebody else to do the job and is in opposition to me. And so one of us is going to die out here on this mission. And that, to me, was enough.
Fair enough. Well, let's score. I won't add anything to it. I've said my piece. It's just sort of faceless villainy in both. Going back to Sniper Reloaded 2011, what do you got?
I gave it a 6. Faceless villainy, yes. Dangerous and menacing, also yes. I mean, we spent the first, 10 minutes of that movie stuck in a cargo container with this dude who we never even saw.
And we did.
So, there was an element of danger, kind of like the Jaws shark. We don't really see the Jaws shark that much, but we know he's out there.
And I've traditionally been, I think, harder on movies in the villain category than anyone. Alan pointed that out to me on James Bond versus Spy movies on our last episode. He's like, you're pretty strict on the villain. And I like to demand a good villain in my movies. And so I'm a little bit more of a grump about it. I gave it a 5. Thought, whatever. It could have been on a made-for-TV movie. I don't remember them, and I don't care. They just were there to get shot.
Fair enough.
Let's go to Sniper 93. What are you going to do there?
I gave it the same. I gave it a 6. I know I said I was a little bit more forgiving of it, but still, faceless entity. And like you, and we talk about it, the villain is a huge part of the movie. If the villain isn't memorable, to me, it takes the movie down a notch.
I concur, and I gave it the same score I gave the last one. I gave this one a 5 as well. Like you, if Joe November was here, I might give it the 0.5 just because there was that dude that was like, I don't know if he was completely successful. I think he was. Did he ended up cutting his finger off?
I've seen that movie so many times, and I thought he did. I couldn't really tell either. I still don't know. I know that Tom Berenger comes back in Sniper 2 and Sniper 3, and he doesn't have any problems pulling the trigger. So either he figured out how to do it with his middle finger or,
All right.
Yeah.
I like that guy, but not enough to move the needle like you. So it's, I got both movies at 5. You got both at a 6. Completely understandable. Kathy throws in her sniper bullet point to Sniper Reloaded 2011. I think she liked that German guy. And that's the end of round 3.
Hasta la vista, baby.
All right, now we're going to get into the juicy stuff. We're going to get into round 4, which is the spectacle. And by spectacle, we're throwing it all in the blender. We're talking the stunts. We're talking the action scenes, the choreography, the soundtrack. We're talking the setting, the lighting, anything that makes a great action movie a great action movie. So with that in mind, Jared, what do you think of the spectacle for Sniper Reloaded?
Strongest category, I think, right here. There's 3 things that I thought were really strong about the spectacle in this movie. Number 1, the way the action scenes were filmed, one of the new, more modern filming techniques where they would actually strap a still camera to the weapon so you could see the soldier moving from that POV. I thought that was really exciting, and they didn't overuse it either. It was like a little bit here, a little bit there. And I thought it really added a cool dynamic. So just the way they filmed the action scenes, I think was pretty outstanding. Now, we both did mention there was some really, it was weird mix because sometimes it's like, yeah, that tracks. And then sometimes it's like, what are you doing? Like, you're not behind any kind of cover right now. There's plenty of guys stopping and dropping to a knee to fire bullets at, and this ticks me off in both movies. There's no sense at all in just sending fire out against a sniper. You don't know where he's at. You are doing nothing but wasting precious ammo. Like, just so some of the tactics dumb, some of the tactics look spot on. Sometimes I was like, yeah, that looks good. but I am going to give it a plus just for the way it was filmed. I thought it was very energetic and it felt good. That's a big plus for me. My second big plus is the cinematography of Africa. They showed us some really beautiful stuff. And I was like, man, they really made the most of their on-site photography. They found some really beautiful things. Yeah, so plus on that. I'm not sure exactly where they filmed it, but they found beautiful spots without a doubt. So that's a big plus. The other one is a big plus, but it made the movie hard to watch, and it kind of goes back to that action scene. Man, it was hard to watch some of them dudes die in that container. It was hard.
Yeah.
And for a movie that's straight to DVD, that's the fourth in a series of freaking 12, to make me feel that, I was like, it's basically like very well done. They'll never show me that again. And
that was pretty rough. The moment they went into that container, I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because that container is not going to
stop bullets.
Stop the bullets. I mean, what were you thinking? I didn't understand why they didn't just get back into that big armored vehicle they had.
It's funny because the movie almost wants you to paint that one guy as a black soldier as like he's losing it. Like, we got to get out of here, man. Like, no, he's actually right. You do need to. It'd be better if y'all just scattered in a bunch of different directions all at once.
Or you could just sit in that armored vehicle for the rest of the day and play cards.
Find cover or something. But like, they painted him as like the crazy guy. I got to get out of this container. Like, actually, no, you do, because otherwise that sniper's just going to keep sending rounds in there. You're not going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyway, that's what I got to say. Over to you.
Yeah, I thought that the action was pretty well done too. I felt the same way. There were a couple scenes in there, like when they were engaging the enemy at the camp, when the bad guys were taking the kids. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, how are you not dead yet, old man? That's just, he's out there with a single shot rifle just standing there, and they're just staring at him, taking bullets. I'm like, you guys have automatic weapons, man. Just start unloading. And our hero, Baby Beckett, I guess he kind of dropped behind a log there, a fallen log. So he had a little bit of cover. But again, it's like one of those things, like you don't stay in one spot. You shoot, roll, come up in another spot, shoot, roll, come up in another spot.
Captain
you don't
Kirk
come up
brought us this, man. The Kirk roll.
The Kirk roll. We all know the Kirk roll. So there were some things that really bothered me in that.
It was weird because it's like I said, at some points I'd see, not even main characters, but side characters. I'd be like, yeah, oh yes, yeah. What are you doing? It felt like they had a military advisor who was taking breaks or only working with certain actors.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Did you not take notes?
I don't know.
So yeah, I mean, I thought the action scenes were pretty good. Not standout, I guess is how I would sum it up. All right, let's move it over to 1993 Sniper and talk about the spectacle there. What'd you think?
Well, that's the biggest difference between these two films is 2011 definitely has that, squad of soldiers, a platoon or whatever that was, of soldiers doing military maneuvers, and it had that energy, and they bring some of that energy back again for the big shootout at the end and all that stuff. Sniper 93 is a quieter movie. And because it's more about sniper life. So while it doesn't have the energy of 2011, it doesn't need the energy of 2011, because what they're doing is they're doing it very well. And much like 2011, they do get a lot of mileage out of their South American. I'm not sure where they filmed it, but I thought it was South America. I'll never trust movies again ever since Escape from New York.
I got a little something on that because I did look up some trivia, and a lot of it was filmed in Australia.
Oh, okay.
Because there was an Australian train that had Australian railroad markings.
Oh, okay. But they like 2011 found beautiful spots to shoot at, and although it's a lot of jungle and greenery because it needs to be, still overall pretty cool. And one of the things I got to throw in that was good for spectacle on Sniper 93 is like they kind of come to, I think it's like a mini village type of deal. And they're kind of walking through, and they both, Zane and Berenger both got their sniper rifles. I'm like, no, what? No, you don't clear a village with a sniper rifle. I actually leaned over to Johanna and said, you would need a submachine gun or at least a pistol. And no sooner those words escape my mouth, he switches over and pulls out a pistol. And I was like, okay.
Yep. I played enough Delta Force to know you go to your pistol. If you're
exactly.
I'm
like, you should have pulled that pistol the moment you came out from cover, really. I mean, he certainly is a good shot with the rifle, and I'm sure he can use it up close. But I don't know. Once you're kind of clearing buildings and stuff, I don't know if that rifle's practical. But they covered it. They did cover it, and so I ended up being okay with it. And I'll let you have anything else.
I think for me, the difference between Sniper Reloaded and Sniper Reloaded, you had a bunch of action that they were trying to capture, like with the GoPro shots on the weapons and everything. You kind of replace that with tension in
that's
Sniper.
what I was trying to say. Well said.
So it's as you're going deeper in the jungle, they run into more and more problems. There's tension between our two characters. It starts right out of the get-go because, like we talked about earlier, Master Sergeant Beckett is not buying into the BS that Billy Zane is saying. He knows that Billy Zane has not killed anybody and makes him. And Billy Zane whiffs it at the very beginning. And that just kind of starts them off into this trajectory. They don't come together really until after Billy Zane actually has to kill somebody. And
he's actually at some point trying to kill Behringer.
Yep.
The stress is so high they're at each other's throats, literally.
Right. There's so much going on, so much tension in that film that when the action elements actually go off, you're kind of like, whew, finally just some shoot 'em up action, One of the things that I like going back to Sniper Reloaded a little bit with the tension and showing the discipline actually occurred at the very beginning with the sniper as he was waiting, as they showed him in the opening credits, just waiting. And then the ants like crawling on his face and you could see him like biting his face and he doesn't move. Yeah. And that's just like, I was like scratching my face.
Right? Yeah. I couldn't do it. I
couldn't do it. I had to give him my position where he'd see me out in the distance, like
shooting ants with the sniper rifle. Blam, blam.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I'll just wrap it up there. I'd say that it was more action in Sniper Reloaded, more tension in Sniper.
I don't know where I was going to fit this, but I want to bring this up too. If I'm going to give Sniper Reloaded 2011 credit for making me feel something emotionally, I have to do it for Sniper 93 as well. But it happened more in the beginning. And I don't know if you got the same character vibe as I did, but when his spotter got killed and he went back to get him,
yeah,
that was emotional. But the character moment I came away feeling from that is, to me, I love that movies show, don't tell. What it told me was man of honor, won't even leave a dead body behind. And on top of that, I honestly think because he was at the end of a career and not knowing what's next, I think he just doesn't care. I think, if I get killed going to get his body, I don't care.
Yeah, well, I mean, we kind of saw that at the end when he said the 1 shot, 2 kills. He wanted the mission complete.
That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that. I think I'd pay better attention to these movies. My problem is I get all excited. I watch them well in advance of release, as we say. And then I watch them 2 weeks before we record. And my brain loses things in those 2 weeks. I'm sitting here trying to remember which one of the movies used the splashing knife in the water as the distraction. I think it was the first movie.
The first one. It was.
That's how he does the through the eye kill. And by the way, I have to say, as far as spectacle goes, that was shot and executed about as well as that possibly could. When I saw that, I was like, oh, that was cool. And that was 1993.
1993 effects. They held up. Yes.
They did. I was like, oh, that was nice. That was nice. All right. Good spectacle in both these films.
Let's wrap it up and score them. What did you give the spectacle for Sniper Reloaded?
Strongest category for me thus far, I gave it a solid 7. I liked the way those action scenes were filled. I liked the beauty of Africa, and as long as they didn't fool me again. And it made me feel something. I was like, that's straight to DVD movies pulling on my heartstrings, man. So yeah, 7.
I wasn't quite as kind. I gave it a 6. I think the GoPro thing kind of threw me out a little bit.
Oh, you didn't like it? Okay.
Well, I think, as we're sitting here talking, if I had to go back, I probably would bump it to a 7. I think what I was looking for was more of that Sniper 1.5. I've seen the first Sniper several times. It's one of those movies that we used to watch in the day room. It used to be playing in the day room a lot when I was stationed in Korea. So it's one of those movies I've seen a lot of. So that's kind of when I think of Sniper, that's the one that I go to. I hadn't seen Sniper Reloaded probably since it came out. So it's been 20 years. And so I kind of was watching that and I I think because it was a little bit more towards the action as opposed to the.
Yeah, it's a different flavor for
sure.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was. So, but that's what I gave it. I gave it a 6.
All right.
What did you give the spectacle for Sniper?
This one also got a very solid 7 from me. I thought it was real good. It's not a whiz bang movie, but it has enough tension. I'm glad you used that word. I'm going to steal it. It has enough tension, character stuff, and cool things like this bullet through the scope and all that to carry it to a solid 7 and a movie I'd be interested in watching again. Yeah, you've seen it a bunch of times. I've only seen it one time.
Yeah, I gave this one a 7 as well. I think that what it, like we said, like what it lacks in the, balls to the wall action, we get with that tension. And I was thinking of that scene where he has to move towards that tractor in the middle of that open field to base his shot out of, and how he's in his ghillie suit. And he just moves over the course of all night, just inches and inches.
It almost gets run over by a Jeep.
Right. It shows him laying there. The Jeep literally goes by him. They got dogs out there and he's rubbing horse poop on himself. So it's throwing the scent off the dogs. I mean, it's bringing you down into the muck with him.
Absolutely. I don't know where to fit this either. I'm not going to deduct for it. But at the beginning, when Billy Zane's in that chopper, and one dude with an AK-47 is kicking the crap out of that chopper. Everybody in that chopper sucks at their job. Everybody in that chopper sucks at it. It's like the pilot, evasive maneuvers,
just
the gunner
in there. You
have a gunner. Shoot the guy. And I think maybe the gunner got shot. You got 4 other guys in the back. Somebody else take the gun and shoot the guy. You got
4 Marines in the back, all armed, going, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!"
Right? I'm a freaking Air Force captain, and I'm just get out of the way, Marines. I'll kill the guy. We'll kill the guy. Goodness gracious, that was hard to watch. I was like, you all suck at this.
I'll tell you, man. It's as soon as that helicopter started taking fire, you probably wouldn't even have had time to raise your weapon. That pilot would have been out of there so fast.
Gone.
Man.
Altitude, distance. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See you later.
Pulled it down into that valley and just wow.
You had a valley you could use for cover too, but instead he hovered there and took the rounds.
Anybody gonna shoot?
What are you doing?
His co-pilot gets shot and he's like, "Oh my god! Oh my!" And he just still.
What do you do? What do you do? You stop getting shot at. Anyway, I won't deduct it, but I had to mention it somewhere. So
the thing that bothered me is when you're in a helicopter, you always have your weapon pointed toward the floor. You never have your weapon pointed to the ceiling. And that's the Marines all had their weapons pointed at the ceiling. I was like, tisk.
All right. I do have Kathy's sniper bullet for this one, and she gave her +1 to 93 sniper for the spectacle. Makes sense. It's where the bulk of our scoring went as well. That's your round anyway. I've hijacked it. Let's go into round 5.
Put the knife away and shut your mouth.
Round 5 is the best action scene. This is where Jason's going to hijack it back from me. And this one I'm very excited to award Kathy's sniper bullet for. And I'll reveal to you what her guidance was to me for the sniper bullet when it's appropriate. But let's start with Sniper Reloaded in 2011. Let's see how Jason broke down the action scenes. There's not a ton in both of these movies, but they're, again, pretty good as we talked about in Spectacle. So how'd you break down the scenes, Jason? And then we'll pick our faves.
Well, for Sniper Reloaded, I had 4 scenes. The first was the ambush at the farmer's house, or as I called it, this is going to lower the property value on Redfin.
Starting strong. I like it.
Number 2 was when they have to rescue the kids that are being kidnapped in the Hunter guy's camp. I called that one, oh no, they're taking the kids.
It's wrong.
It's I wouldn't have been in a hurry. I'm just saying. And then the third one.
If we wait a while, they'll just drive away.
The third one, I was rescuing the kids part 2, because that's actually kind of like the next action scene is when they hook up and they go out and they come across that group of bad guys again. And the guy's got the machine. He's about ready to whack the kid. I called that one 10 bullets is too much.
He shot that guy a lot of times.
Just like, ah! I was like, jeez.
I was thinking, why wouldn't he die?
Jeez. I was laughing. It was so ridiculous. And then finally, the fourth one was the final showdown there in the village, or I called that one time out. I got something in my eye.
Not terribly original, not your joke, but the fact that got shot in the eye.
Yeah.
No, all right, that's cool. Of the four, which one's your favorite?
It's between the final showdown and Rescuing the Kids 2. I'm gonna go with Rescuing the Kids 2. I like that one quite a bit.
All right, I'm gonna pick the opening scene with the. I just felt the most tension. The price of red fins going down.
Oh, gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. The tension, the fact that it made me feel emotion that I didn't particularly like, but a movie that can do that, it's impressive. But yeah, the tension of that, and then I like the way that it was filmed and its frenetic energy. So yeah, I'm going to go with the opener.
That was good.
But yeah, but I don't necessarily want to watch it again for as much sense as that makes. Okay, let's shift gears to Sniper 1993 and see how you broke those down.
Also, 4 action scenes here. The opening assassination scene where we see Master Sergeant Beckett and Papich out in the jungle. The opening assassination, or as I called it, shot through the heart, and I'm to blame. Ain't nothing wrong with my aim.
My aim. Nice. All right. Not bad.
And then the second one was when Beckett makes Billy Zane, a Miller character, take out the target on the riverboat. I called that one, you shot at the heart and you missed. Now Master Beckett is really pissed.
Real pissed. I like the joke consistency.
Well, the third one was when they are actually at the hacienda and getting into position. Miller's able to take his shot, but he's been exposed, and so Beckett has to go fight the guy that's got the drop on Miller that Miller doesn't even know about.
Right.
I called that one Sniper at Your Feet. Get it? Because he got it.
Oh my God. That was, I almost forgot. Oh.
That was...
Yeah, didn't Van Damme do that in the last episode of Action Film Face Off?
He did, yeah.
Every time someone gets stabbed in the foot.
I think that Van Damme's was worse because he put it in the toe.
Oh, can't.
With it. I was that just hurt. And then the fourth one was when Miller has to go back and rescue Beckett. I call that one, I gave that guy the finger.
It's not bad. Not bad. All right. Let's go back to Sniper 2011. I like the opener. You liked 10 bullets is too much. The Saving the Kids Part 2. Let's score them. What do you got?
For that one, I give that one a 7. I elevated that a little bit over the action scenes overall.
Yeah, Match Game number 6. I gave the opener a 7. They all kind of felt a little 7-ish to me. All in the 6-7 range.
Yeah.
All right, Sniper 93. Did we pick favorites?
No, we didn't pick favorites.
I forgot to pick favorite. Well, let's pick them and score them then. What was your favorite? And I'll pick mine and we'll score them. I got to go with when he shot the dude through the eye. So which one was that?
Oh, man, I didn't have that one.
Which one can we connect it to the most?
I'll say we'll connect that one to the hacienda.
Hacienda feels right.
Yeah, because he had to get through that guy to get to the hacienda.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay, me too. That's the one I got.
I mean, it's just it's the most memorable shot of the movie. What are we going to score it? What do you got?
I'm going to go 7. I think they were all pretty much solid 7s across the board.
Speaking of 7s, that's Match Game number 7. So if you had 7 on your card, you're going to win because there's no more Match Game. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. So there you go. And now I will reveal Kathy's bullet. She's giving her +1 to Sniper Reloaded 2011. And her guidance to me was pick whichever one Jason names the funniest name. And I had to go 10 bullets is too much is the one that made me laugh the most. So that's
I was
why.
proud to Sniper at Your Feet.
Sniper at Your Feet's not bad, but it makes me go, oh, 10 bullets is too much. Because I was thinking that with that guy. I was like, how many times is that guy going to get shot? So that was my guidance for Kathy. Give it to the funniest one. That's one I thought was you did very well tonight on all of them, but that one was my favorite. So that's where and that's the end of the official rounds.
Is that your best?
All right, let's go ahead and move into the deduction round then and just check and see. Jared, are you taking any points off of either of these films? I see head nods. Let's hear it.
I already promised that you and the listening audience -1 for Lieutenant Useless in Sniper 2011. It's just so unnecessary. And then just to add sort of the military view of it, like, yes, officers enlisted hook up. That is a thing that happens. But in like these movies, these are supposed to be like the heroes, right? The sort of the paragons of virtue. And like your really good stalwart enlisted troop would never even mess with that. And your really good lieutenant would not mess with that. So like for those people who aren't military and watching the movie, they go, oh, yeah, the two good looking people hooked up. And that happens in real life. But for those of us who are military, it's like, well, it kind of taints the credibility of both of them. It makes them less professional, is what I'm trying to say. And again, it happens in real life, but it taints the professionalism of our lead character. So I'm like, it makes me like it even less. So -1, she didn't need to be there. And I think it tainted the professionalism of the two. But I think people like us might be the only ones who would notice that.
I would have forgiven it. I agree with you 100%. I'll say that. And only reason why I didn't deduct it because I knew it was coming from you. So
there's a point coming off.
I knew where it was coming. I knew it was coming off. I would have forgiven it. I could have even defended it had there been any type of connection between these two characters at all.
But they saw each other at the gym.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. There you go. And then, like, during the lovemaking scene, it was also like they were doing like therapy. She's weird. You want to get revenge? They're making out. You want to just get revenge because they killed your man. I mean, my would have been like, Meow.
It was weird. I didn't like it,
man.
Unnecessary.
It's kind of a mood killer. So it just didn't work on any level. Except to like, okay, we need to throw somebody in for him to rescue here in the final act. I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. All right. Anything from Sniper 93?
No, man. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, you got that look like you're thinking.
I got two things. One from Sniper Reloaded, one from Sniper 93.
Oh, okay. Let me get prepared to write these down. Go ahead.
Okay. So Sniper Reloaded, Billy Zane comes in with, I don't know what the sniper rifle he had was at the beginning, but by the time he's up in that tower, he has a Barrett 50 caliber sniper rifle, which weighs a freaking ton.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where did you carry that? Like, and then like,
maybe it was like James Bond and Thunderball with the jetpack. It was just up there already.
Yeah. Just stowed away right there, I guess. And then, like, he uses it one time, like, and you brought one bullet for it, and then goes back to the other rifle. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And so now I'm going to go over to Sniper 93 again. Billy Zane, did you really need to take your medal, your Olympic medal, into the jungle with you? Like, okay, we're going to have to teach you how to pack, my friend, because you're not ready for the field.
All right, sniper training 101. You got your ghillie suit, you got your camo makeup on. You don't want anything that reflects. Nice silver medal, Billy.
Yeah, what are you carrying that there for? I mean, what's the point of it?
The only thing that would ever come in handy for is if like they literally needed the silver, like as a bribe, to bribe somebody to get a ride out of a dangerous spot. Like,
hey man, can you buy my finger back with that silver so maybe I can get reattached?
Yeah, that was weird. Like he opened his gun case and it was like in there, and I was like, something should be in a frame at your house. I would say.
Yeah, weird. I don't know. That part bothered me. So
I will say that I was very happy with the proper application of camo. Darks on highs, lights on lows. They did good on that.
It was pretty good. Yep. He's like, did I miss a spot?
I like how they did camo up like legit. And I was like, yeah, it looks good. And like in the next scene, pretty much all of it was gone because they were like, we got to see the actors' faces, And I was like, what?
Right.
Camo. Anyway. All right. So that's it then. We're all done. Deductions.
That's it. Those are my deductions.
Then we are done with the scoring rounds. All right, folks, don't worry if you haven't been keeping up with that math. We do that for you here at Action Film Face Off. Quick check-in of match game. I mentioned it earlier. 7. If you pick 7 matches out of the 10, then you win. going to the sniper bullets. Kathy gave 3 of hers to OG Sniper 93 and 2 to Sniper Reloaded. And looking at the judges' scorecards, the winner of this episode of Action Film Face Off with a score of 69 to 62. Nice. Sniper 1993.
Well, congratulations to Sniper. Now let's head over to the randomizer and find out what the years are going to be for the next episode. My brother Jared will be pulling a film from...
Choose your destiny.
2008. And I will bring a film from...
Choose your destiny.
1977. There's only 3 action movies in 1977, and we've covered 2 of them, so I know what the next one's going to be. But we're not going to tell you. We'll tease them for you on social media for those of you who want to watch before listening, and that's really for Dave. Or you can just tune in next episode and find out. Until then, I'm Jason, the Weasel Skull Ulbrich.
And I'm Jared Ulbrich, the Yard Sale Artist, a.k.a. Death Probe. And you can find me on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Yard Sale Artist if you'd like to chat with me. And I encourage you to check out all the shows on the Longbox Crusade feed by subscribing to Longbox Crusade on any of your finer podcatchers, or catch up with us on YouTube, or you can go directly to our website, www.longboxcrusade.com. If you'd like to send us a question or a comment, you can do that lots of different ways. We are on all the social medias at Longbox Crusade and, of course, on YouTube. And we have at AFFO Podcast on X. It's just one more way to reach out to us. So if you want to hit up at AFFO Podcast, that's me watching that account. So, we'll chat there. Classic maneuver is to leave us a voicemail. You can do that at 707-532-5269. That's 707-532-LBOX.
Pick up the phone.
And I'll tell you who picked up the phone. Well, not really, but we did get a comment over on YouTube that I thought I would bring in as we close out this episode. A guy named I've Been Chris over on YouTube recently watched Action Film Face Off 43. But back in the day, man.
What did we cover on 43?
That was a Martial Arts Madness episode where we covered Who Am I and Time and Tide with Siskoid on that one.
Well, which one was Time and Tide?
That was I want to say it was a Shuey Hark film. There's a big shootout at the mall at the end. I'm going to remember more about it in a minute.
Okay.
But here's what I've Been Chris said, and I thought, it was nice enough to leave us a nice comment. I'll read it on the show. He said, I grew up with these 2 films as a Hmong kid, Hmong, which I had to look up. I'll admit it. Apparently, it's a person of Chinese descent, but they don't live in China. Is sort of the short version of that.
Okay.
He says, I'm Asian, but not Chinese. I just believe you, Chris. I believe you. But anyway, that being said, these 2 gave me such childhood memories. Both are very good, in my opinion. Overall, for rewatchability, I have to go with Time and Tide. The apartment shooting scene, which is coming back to me now.
Yeah, it's coming back to me now, too.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece. I think a lot about that scene since the early 2000s. And the scene made me want to slide on the ground in the mall and act like a skilled assassin like Wu Bai. Love this episode. Well, I want to say thanks for that. I've been Chris. Thanks for your feedback. And we appreciate being able to bring back fond memories. That's pretty much why we do all the shows on Longbox Crusade. Thanks again, Chris, for sending that in and bringing back memories of episode 43. I think this is like 81. I think this is 81. So about halfway in our past catalog. I'm glad somebody got a kick out of it. No pun intended with the Jackie Chan reference. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you listening. And until next episode, keep your head down
and your knuckles up.
The intro and outro theme to this show and all of our Action Film Face-Off shows are done by musical genius Joe November. Check out his SoundCloud at JOSEFLIN99. You will not regret it.
I'll save it for the best action scene. I was going to do a best action scene and call it the sex scene or Sniper Unloaded.
Man, oh man.
I don't know if you had to bleep that or not.
I'm going to pick one that I didn't like, but it's going to get my...
Is it Sniper Unloaded?
No.
She's gonna blow him away.
You're supposed to let me finish it off.
And Jared, I want you to know that you are not a weirdo.
Jared, you are a weirdo.